Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We welcome you all one to our program On the Couch. This is a program to enlighten one and all about the religion Al-Islam, to eradicate the myth about Islam, as well as remind and make others who don't know about Islam know about Islam. My name is Nadia Yashamakaka. I am an accounting student at the University of Zimbabwe. With me are my co-host, Alaina. Let you introduce yourself.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Alaina. I'm a Muslimah and a psychologist.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Yadla Katuri. I'm a freelance journalist.
Assalamu alaikum, I'm Kiasalam. I'm an HR.
Oh, so those are my co-hosts. To enlighten up the mood, as well as to let people know about Islam, we wanted to start with our journey through Islam.
Growing up is always something that is not easy. To find your identity, to find who you are, where you are going, what you want to do. And then religion is something that is a social factor. So you go through trying to fit in, you go through trying to hide your identity because not everyone understands you. So yeah, I went through some times where I had to hide my identity by never at all wearing my hijab, even though I know I can identify as a Muslim. It was only because I wanted not to look like a Muslim, I'm sorry to say this, in the society, because people would have myths that I knew about that I was afraid to be associated with. Like, for example, they say that Muslims, especially when it comes to the funeral rites, there are those things that they have to say, that Muslims, they drink water of the deceased when they bathe it, and there are so many things that they say. So I wanted to hide myself. It wasn't until I got to understand what my religion really is about that when I started to accept it, and I'm really ready to share what my religion is all about with the people. As my co-hosts here have actually said, we want to eradicate those myths that people have in their minds about Islam.
You mentioned that it was very hard, so I just want us to know, what was the turning point, Alaina, that made you like, this is Islam, I want Islam, because from what you're saying, you were someone who was hiding behind the curtains, you didn't want people to know that you're a Muslim, but now you're here and everyone is watching this and you're wearing a hijab, and what is it that made you to stick to Islam?
Well, mostly it was about listening to lectures on YouTube about Islam, and reading the Quran on my own to understand the Quran, what it says. And I think the very turning point was mostly when I had to read the Sirah, the teachings of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. I had to learn their journeys as well. In those times, they were not Muslims at all. And then Islam was a new religion brought to them. And they had to go through the worst struggles, that we are facing right now. So I was mostly inspired by them to actually accept my religion. And I got to understand what it was more by listening to lectures, reading the Quran, and yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, I think everyone has got a story to tell about how they become Muslims or how they get with Muslims. For me, I think, I don't know, maybe we can say it was confusing, or I enjoy telling this story all the time, but anyway, it's my life and it's my journey.
Exactly.
So actually, I was I was born in a Muslim family, like my mother, my father, my grandparents, they were all Muslims. Actually, they came from, let's say, Malawi, like what other people believe, like every Muslim, they come from Malawi, they come from India, and all that kind of thing. Chawa, that kind of thing. But anyway, it's different in a way. So for me, it was like, okay, I was born in a Muslim family, then I had to grow up in a Christian family,
Oh.
you know. So it's more like I had to switch from Islam to what? To Christianity. But what I would want to say to focus on is like my journey to Islam. Okay, for Christianity is another story to tell, but what I'm just trying to say is, okay, there was a time that I was in Islam, then I had to be a Christian, then I had to come back to Islam again. That was actually for me, I say it was a personal choice. A personal choice that I have to say, okay, anyone can be a Christian, anyone can be a Muslim, you can be whatever you want to be. But what we are focusing today is about Islam, because there are a lot of different views about Islam. People view it in different ways. So for me, we are here actually to talk about how it affected us or how it impacted us, whatever situation we faced in our lives. So for me, I think I have a lot of things to say about how I lived as a Muslim. But what we can talk about today is like how I came back to Islam. For me, I think that's what we are just gonna share or talk about along the way. So I think for now, okay.
For me, it was so difficult to hide that I'm Muslim because of my name. The name exposes me. What they know, what is your name? Look here. What? You ask like 3 times, what does that mean? And it's clear that you are a Muslim. Some things, they're difficult. Like, for example, you're going to school, you don't have a hijab. And then when you go home, they see you with hijab, and like, so what do you do? Why are you putting this school? And in school, they say it's not allowed. So even on civic days, me, I used to have problems. I had a friend, she would put on hijab on civic days,
And me like, no.
no, I'll just go like that. I just want to be, and I don't want questions. Sometimes you avoid questions because you don't have answers.
Yes,
Like
exactly.
you are growing up and you're just told you're Muslim. So when people ask you, it's like, I don't know what to say. You stick, you're like, I don't know. I'm still practicing. And I cannot tell them, I'm practicing, I'm learning, no. So sometimes you face those situations where you are asked or you're told, you eat people. Like, so how do I react? You're still a child and you don't know how to react. Like, so what am I going to say? You people, you do this, so some things, they like traumatize you. Yeah. Like traumatize, like these days you can do someone saying, you're a terrorist. You're just a small kid and you also hate terrorists. And someone just says you're a terrorist. So it's kind of hard to fit in, but I'm sure we will get there.
Yeah, mine is actually different from you ladies in the sense that my family, my father's side, there's no one Muslim. Up to now, there is no one Muslim, and my mother's side, they were Muslim. So also, I was growing up, I was from the mother's side, but I always wanted to be the father's side. Like I saw it as if at this side there's freedom. You know, there's not this. You have to go to church on Friday. You have to wear this. You have to eat this. So I was kind of confused. So I would go to church, but it wasn't in my heart. So when people ask me, so which is your religion? I'll be like, I'm Catholic, because that was my father's religion. I didn't want to say Islam because it's more like they just telling me I am Muslim, but what is it all about? I didn't know. So my turning point came when my Form 1, I went to learn at an Islamic school. There is an Islamic school, Iqra Darul Ilm, alongside my Nazareth. So then I started learning about Islam. Not from what I was hearing at school that you eat people, you should be a Muchawa, you should be an Indian. So it took a change, like it opened up my mind, but this is not what people say about Islam. I didn't want to be a Muslim because everyone was saying bad things, like terrorists, yeah. But when I learned Islam, it was teaching me about love, it was teaching me about oneness with God, it was telling me all those things that I didn't know existed in Islam. So I think that was the turning point that I said, no, this is the way to go. I think that is what led for me to be here today, wearing my scarf and saying proudly that I am a Muslim. So it was a really confusing journey at first, but at the end of the day, because I learned about Islam, so I think the advice now is to everyone out there, you should learn about something before you judge it, before you talk bad about it. Don't say things that you have heard from someone who doesn't even know about it. I think that's the issue mostly, yeah.
I think also me, I also get a turning point. Mine was like, I think 5-6 years ago. Yeah, when I had to go to university. Yeah, I think that's when I made a choice, like, okay, actually, I didn't make a choice that time. I was like, okay, I'm going in an environment where there are Muslims, so I had to be a Muslim. You know, that was my turning point. So, by nature of being there in a Islamic environment.
Yes.
I said, okay, I had to put on a hijab. Yeah, I just put a hijab. I didn't understand the meaning of it. Why am I putting a hijab? I was like, okay, I didn't even understand like how I have to do it, because sometimes, okay, I'm going to this place, so I have to put a hijab. I put a hijab. Then sometimes I'll just remove it and I'll put on a hat and what we like, you know, you're in a confusion.
Yes.
So that's how it was. But with time, I think actually I can say recently, it has been a journey for me, because recently that's when I sat down on my own and I said, what is my way forward in Islam? What do I want? Do I want to do this, or I want to go back to where I was? Or
choose.
I had to choose. Then I made a choice. Okay, I'm going to go like on basics. I'm gonna say, okay, I don't know Islam, but I want to learn Islam. So what is my next step? I took a next step by starting to study Islam. Right? That's how I started. So if I had to calculate or to put in numbers, I was just like, okay, this year, let's say 2019 is my year where I said I want to be a Muslim and I want to follow Islam.
Yeah, as for me, I also had some ups and downs, because when I said I decided to be, actually I was born a Muslim, as you already know, but then when I decided now I want to be a Muslim was the day I decided to put on a hijab, and that was when I was 11 years old. But I didn't know, and then people begin to drag you down, to bring you back. Like, you have friends who are
criticizing you.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because you don't have many Muslims.
Like avoiding questions. You don't want to be asked questions.
Yes, exactly. And actually the friends will be like, where are you going with that?
Why
is that
like that?
going with you when you're wearing that thing? And they're calling it that thing. And also I'm saying it's the thing, because I don't know what it is. So I had to remove it, and then as time goes on, I'll put it back. Maybe when I'm going to the masjid, I will have to put it, like, I had to hide from my friends. So when I get to the masjid gate, I put it on, and then go into the masjid, perform my prayers, come back outside the gate, I remove it, and again, like everyone else.
I think we all went through that stage. You put it on, and then you're going to school, you're coming from school, your schoolmates are still leaving school, and you also don't want them to see you, you're hiding your face, and you just go. You don't want them to see, you don't want to wear a uniform, or just a uniform, no.
Yeah.
Because they will see you, and you start talking about it. In day school.
I think I was also in a situation where I felt uncomfortable. Like, you have friends and all of them, they don't wear hijab, they don't understand hijab.
Exactly.
And for you don't have enough knowledge to understand what is hijab. Then when they tell you something demotivating, like, why are you putting that? It's hot, you know.
Exactly.
You have to style your hair, you have to do this kind of thing. You feel like, okay, why am I doing this? Because
Exactly.
you have no understanding of what it is.
Yes.
But I think the most important thing is, like, if you get knowledge of something, later or something, to understand what it is. Let's just not be people who like, okay, I was born a Muslim, so okay, I'll just go to the masjid, I'll pray this way and that. You don't understand. I think there's a time that we have to accept yourself and to think like, okay, this is what I want. Exactly. This is my choice. We don't have, for me, I don't think I'm here even today as we are talking. I'm not here for the next person.
Exactly.
Don't do it because someone is doing it. Your parents can be in this religion and you can be in that religion. Depending on how comfortable you are or how ready you are to accept yourself, like, this is what I want and this is how I'm going to live your life. So it's a choice that you have to make on your own.
Yes. You have raised an important point that people think when you are a Muslim is either you're forced to be a Muslim. Yet in the Quran it says there is no compulsion in deen. You cannot force someone to become a Muslim. In my story, I think after I learned my Form 1 to 4 at an Islamic school, I then went to a non-Islamic school. But I was very fortunate that I learned at Girls' Eye. They allow you to wear your scarf. And so the thing is, you're wearing your skirt and you put on your trousers inside, and no matter how hot it is, you have to, but because everyone now, I had learned where everyone was a Muslim, like everyone you're putting on, but now in my class I was the only one, so sometimes you feel like all these people, if they say something, just feel like, really, they left me out because I am a Muslim. So as the only student in the classroom with hijab, I felt so uncomfortable. It was, so there are moments would be like, I can just remove this thing. And there was the question that everyone is asking you, oh, so do you wash yourself with this thing? Aren't you feeling hot in summer? And these questions, because I was from a comfortable zone, that I was from all Muslims, then you're now the only Muslim. So I think that was the difficult moment I had. But ladies, if you believe in something, don't ever question it. Like, in a way, don't give up on it. The moment you want to give up on something, it means you don't believe in it. So it's about learning about it, understanding it, and believing it. So that when anyone says anything, you don't waver around because you know this is the right way. I think with that, let's just take a break and we'll continue with our journey in Islam, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to our program On the Couch. So we were discussing our journey in Islam. I think, ladies, you have more stories to share with those people.
Yeah. Actually, it's actually funny. Like, I remember when you mentioned something like, people, they'll ask you a question like, do you bath with your hijab?
Exactly.
There are a lot of funny questions. Like, right now, what can I think about? Like, when you wear a hijab, you get used to it. It's like you are wearing your own skin. There's nothing special about it. Like, you feel like, I'm feeling hot. We are used to it. So many times you walk in the street and people ask you, aren't you feeling hot? And you're like, no, I'm okay, I'm fine. They actually feel sorry for you. Someone will, actually, there's something that really worries me. Like, someone get bothered by you wearing your hijab. You do not say anything to anyone. Someone is like, they will just come and grab your hijab, like,
exactly.
You are trying to pull it off, like, what are you doing? What are you doing actually? Because, like, when you're wearing your cap, I'm not disturbed by it.
Exactly.
When you're wearing your hairstyle, I'm not disturbed by it. This is my choice. I'm wearing my hijab, and it's good for me, and I'm fine. Don't worry about me actually. Those are some of the things that you face for, like, when you wear a hijab. It's actually a challenge, like, in this journey of Islam.
But personally, among all the comments, there's this one thing that wherever you're walking in town, you're just walking, and then this winnies and guys will be like, I want to marry a girl from a church. You go, and you'll be like, it's not even part of Islam. So they'll be talking like, so you'll be like,
it's because they connect Islam with the
culture, exactly.
of Malawians. So they think that maybe every Muslim who is dark comes from Malawi, every Muslim who is white comes from India, but really Islam is a worldwide religion.
Exactly.
Because even if you ask a Muslim who is in Britain right now, or the one who is in Tunisia, in Nigeria, wherever, they will ask them about those culture things. They say, what is Islam? Because Islam is actually guided by the Quran.
Exactly.
Like, if you take a Quran, you read the translation, let's say, you understand what is written there. There is no way they will mention those kind of things that people assume that's what.
Exactly.
Like, someone can say, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
And you guys saw those olive eyes, the Egypt ones, and then you married. It's a personal choice, and if someone they want to cover their whole body, including the faces, their choice. And so it's been.
I guess it's the more challenging questions because I use the public transport. You sit next to someone who is very eager of their religion, so they are now asking me to compare Islam and Christianity. Like, they want me to know, they want me to tell them why Islam is better than Christianity. So for me, I think that both are religions,
Yes.
and if we are going to choose Islam or Christianity, it's from what we see is fit for us to practice. Mostly maybe because it's easier for me to choose Islam because I was born in it. But if I have to tell you something, when all those questions were coming, I had to read the Bible. You'll be surprised, because when I was telling them about their Bible verses, they were surprised, like, how do you know the Bible? But because I'm in a Christian country and people are asking me about Christianity, I had to read it. I thought maybe, really, you never know, you can't be very correct about anything. So I had to go and check.
It's a privilege to live with Muslims and the
Exactly.
because you get to understand someone. When they're saying something, you understand. You take something that you don't want, you take something you want.
Yeah, exactly.
You just have to
So I read the Bible, and there is nothing wrong with what the Bible teaches. But then what I learned from the Bible is more inclined to Islam. What is in the Quran is what we are supposed to practice. It's not something that we are going to say, okay, so someone else came and changed the laws, so now we have to not follow so many rules. But when I see the Bible and the Quran, God has rules, and those rules are the same in the Bible and in the Quran, and they have to be followed. So that's how I said, okay, if Islam is the same if Islam and Christianity has the same God, has the same books, even in the Quran, the Bible is mentioned, the books in the Bible, the Torah, the Gospel, the Psalms, they are mentioned.
People are just ignorant about these issues, like especially about, let's say, religion and politics. You know, people, they stick to what they know. Mm-hmm. They don't want to explore. They don't want to learn. Actually, if you want to be knowledgeable about something, give yourself time. Don't be judgmental before you know
Exactly,
everything
an
about
open
anything,
mind.
right?
Because if you say something, you're trying to prove it's wrong. It will be wrong to you. And say something because you want to know both sides. Yeah, I think
that's how I actually studied it. I had actually left everything. Like, no, I'm not a Muslim, I'm not a Christian. I'm a person who wants to know the truth. And then I kind of went to seek the truth. And then I don't know if I found the truth, but I'm choosing Islam for now.
Yeah. I think the difficulties that we are facing as Muslims, as the minority in Zimbabwe at the moment, there are some difficulties that the minority Christians are facing in Islamic countries.
Exactly.
You know, the opposite is true. It's just the same everywhere. Like in Islamic countries, you face like Christians who are also saying the same thing. Like, you don't understand us. Why are you accusing us? You know, yeah. So I think it's just you have to learn about these things. You have to know about Buddhism, know about Hinduism, know about Islam, know about Christianity. But for us today, we were talking about Islam because that's what we believe in. That's what, like, we were called to live like I have to live as a Muslim, so I will practice Islam and I will just follow the rules as it is. I don't have to compare myself to say, okay, you're a Christian, so what you're doing is wrong. I don't have to be the judge.
One of the pillars of faith in Islam is predestination. You have to believe that I was predestined to be a Muslim, and maybe the others were predestined to be Christians. So we don't have to really put others in the corner and be like, why are you doing this, why are you doing this? Let God lead you. Let His predestinations take you wherever He is going to take you. And what you only need is to believe in God. First and foremost, believe in God, the Creator. That's how I actually had to become who I am today.
Yeah, I think if we want to talk about our stories in Islam, we'll spend the whole day talking about this, because Islam, it's not only a religion, but it's a way of life which teaches us from how we should walk, how we should dress, how we should eat. So I know we all have a lot of stories, but because of time, I think we can just say a few words that you want to tell people out there, a few advices. I don't know who wants to start, but let's just, as we close this session, inshallah.
Inshallah.
And I would like to say it's good to practice what you preach. So whenever you are saying I'm a Muslim, live as a Muslim. That's what I think would guide you as a person.
Thank you for that.
For me, I believe God is great. As we always say, Allah Akbar. Like sometimes it's associated with other things, but I just say God is great. Why did I say God is great? Because God, if He wanted us to be the same, we would be the same color, the same race, speak the same language, do everything the same. But He alone knows why we are different. So me, I'm going to live as a Muslim the way I am, and God knows why I'm a Muslim.
Exactly.
And another person is going to live in their religion as they are, because God knows why they became that. But here today, we're just here to inform people, to let people know how we live as Muslims. And actually, we enjoy being Muslims.
Yes.
what I would say to the people out there is that we are Muslims, we are ready to learn from you, and we are ready to accept you with what you believe in. All we need to do is accept each other, coexist together, and as we grow together, we get to learn more about different people. It's actually a very good thing to learn more about different people. But the biggest advice I'll give to a person is believe in God, because God is all about peace and love and kindness. So if we just believe in that, whether I am a Muslim, I come from Zimbabwe, or you come from Great Britain or anywhere in the world, we just know that we live in peace, kindness, and love.
I'll go for the saying that let's judge Islam based on Islam, not based on Muslims. Because if you look at Islam based on Muslim, often we're human beings, you're not perfect. You see a Muslim doing this, don't associate that with Islam. So let's judge Islam based on Islam. That is the Quran, that is what is in the Sunnah. As well as I cover my head, not my brain. So don't judge a book by its cover. I'm as well as capable as anyone out there. I am not oppressed. I am a proud Muslim, inshallah. So thank you, ladies, and to the people out there, if you have comments, you have any questions, you can put them on the comments below, so that we want to know what you want to learn more about, as well as what you think about this program, inshallah. Till we meet again, this is the program On the Couch with your co-host Lukia, Yadila, Alaina, as well as Nadia. Wassalam.